Hello and welcome to Convinced Catholicism, a place for all things Catholic. Today we have a book by Catholic Book Publishing Company. This is Every Day We Praise You, Prayers and Readings for Each Day. So this book, disclaimer, is not in print anymore. I really do not see why it is not. So if anyone who has the power to put this book back into print, please do something about that, right? Catholic Book is notorious for being kind of the Catholic publisher and kind of also included in a sentence that starts with, if only Catholic Book Publishing published this, or if only they did not make such ugly art, or whatever. I am willing to put all the ugly art aside and say that this book is wonderful. And I'm going to go through as much of it as I can so that people can understand how wonderful and special this book is, and maybe, we can see how we can piece together a nice personal prayer life with this book, or ideas and inspiration from it, right? So the book is 4¼ wide, that's inches, 6¼ inches tall, and 3/4 of an inch thick, right? So a good sized book. I would say that this is the ideal for putting in your coat pocket or your purse or your backpack, or for if you're wearing a pair of pants with big pockets. This is really good for it. And again, before I get into the book, I want to tell you that I do have two more or less viable options for you. Okay, so let's get into the book. There's that art that I'm talking about. Imprimatur by Joseph T. O'Keefe. And then we have the crux of the book, which is Psalter Week 1. So the Liturgy of the Hours, the way that it works, the Divine Office, the Breviary, they are the Psalms, almost all 150, are split into 4 weeks. This is just the first week, which for somebody who does not want to pray the Liturgy of the Hours, or finds it too overwhelming, or just wants to pray some of the Psalms or whatever, this is a great book for them. And I think that the other contents of the book, the readings, prayers, and devotions are awesome. Advent, Christmas, Lent, Holy Week, Easter, Ascension, Pentecost, and then the Feast of the Holy Trinity. Readings and prayers in honor of Mary. Readings and prayers from the saints and spiritual writers. Holy Eucharist, prayers and meditations. Reception of communion outside of Mass. Some, if you're at the hospital, maybe, I don't know. New rite of penance, everyday prayers, hymns and music, prayers for times of sickness and suffering. It has this nice little introduction about why to pray the hours, why to pray the Psalms, and how the Psalms are designed to be prayed with a community, or you're still in communion with people if you're praying the Psalms, because, every morning there are X number of Catholics or X number of Christians praying morning prayer or evening prayer or whatever. Right, so suggestions for praying in common, so on and so forth. And this is an old book. This copy is from 1978. We can see here, it only gives you information all the way up to 1999, which is a lot farther back than even I think. But Psalter Week 1, as suggested, a little reflection on why certain psalms are prayed, and then we get right to it, right? So notice at the beginning, it says Evening Prayer 1. Why is that? That's because evening prayer 1, or the start of the week, liturgically starts on Saturday evening. And so Sunday starts on Saturday evening. Think of it as like the vigil mass, or that 5:30 Saturday mass that you might attend that is in honor of Sunday. Same thing with the Psalter, right? So Sunday, week 1, evening prayer 1, this would be prayed on Saturday night. God, come to my assistance. Lord, make haste to help me, so on and so forth. And then we have a hymn or a guide, or we have a guide to pray which hymn. So either 24, let's see what that one might be. 24. Now thank we all our God. Nice classic hymn. Many people would know this without the music. Or 348. Right, so, and this is a nice thing too, right? Because there isn't much flipping back and forth. You don't need to set any ribbons. It doesn't come with ribbons, or at least my edition did not. 348, right? So we're Advent or Christmas. The Epiphany would fall under the Christmas season, sort of, right? And so we have these options here, right? We Three Kings would be perfectly suitable for that. So hymn number 5, right? So here we have We Three Kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar. And it has nice music for the antiphon, the Psalms. And let's see if this is the same translation as one of my viable options. This is Shorter Christian Prayer. Let's go to week 1 and see if it's the same translation. I suppose I should have gone to the first of the red-lined pages, huh? There we go. I have called to you, Lord, listen to help me. I have called to you, Lord, hasten to help me. Hear my voice when I cry to you. Hear my voice when I cry to you. Let my prayer arise before you like incense, and the raising of my hands like an evening oblation. And if it's the same, we'll see. Set, O Lord, a guard on my mouth. Yeah, it seems that it's the same translation. Okay, cool. So if, let's say it's week 1, you would have to know it's week 1. You could bring this to a prayer session and you'd be able to follow along wonderfully. We do see the inclusion of psalm prayers, which are very commonly skipped. And then it goes through the service right through, right? And then Sunday morning is right there for you. The only thing would be, and this is a reflection, right? You don't have to read this every time. This is maybe just the first time you do it. Lord, open my lips. And then the inviatory psalm would be page 128. And so that's where that common prayers would be. The invitatory is Psalm 95. Rock who saves us, Lord is God, mighty God, so on and so forth. Then the antiphon. Typically, most people would kind of just read through it, maybe not repeat the antiphon. And then also here we have the Benedictus, or the Canticle of Zechariah, which is prayed in the morning. And then we have the Canticle of Mary, or the Magnificat, which is prayed in the evening. And I'm sure that they would tell you, okay, now it's time to pray the Magnificat. Right? So Canticle of, yeah, exactly. Turn to page 130. So again, not necessarily a need for ribbons, maybe more so bookmarks. And so, and it goes right through all of the week 1 for the Psalter. Honestly, again, nice little book. If someone was not, I guess you could say, really determined to pray all 150 Psalms, which, by the way, you're not even going to do in the Liturgy of the Hours. You just want some Psalms in your life, some scripture. This is a great option. Then we have the concluding prayers for seasons, right? So this would be especially nice on the Sundays, right? So we have what are the collects, right? All-powerful God. And so honestly, you could alternate these throughout the season, right? So maybe Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, you would pray this. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, you would pray the second one. That would be a nice little way to kind of keep things fresh. We have Advent, Christmas, Lent, Easter, Pentecost, and then we have a few from Ordinary Time. Though it seems it's kind of your job to see which one. 17th, 32nd, 5th, 7th, 26th. Okay, so maybe not the most intuitive ordering, but that's okay. Then collects, or concluding prayers, as this book suggests they are called. The Mary, Mother of God, apostles, martyrs, saints, angels, right? So it does give you the option to kind of customize this, right? So maybe you know for a fact that the saint that you're venerating that day is a martyr. You could say, Lord, may the victory of your martyr Thomas or Joan or whatever it may be, give us joy. May their example strengthen our faith, blah, blah, blah. And then we have these dismissals. And then exploring the way of prayer, we have some kind of reflections here, these meditations. And then I want to get to something else in this book that I think is really cool. We have these different readings, prayers, and devotions and on the mysteries of Christ, and it goes through each season. So you might see a poem or a song, right? So this poem, The Incarnation, St. John of the Cross, translator Roy Campbell. Then we have these gospel readings. And then what's especially cool is we have these sermons and these writings from church fathers and early saints. So St. Bernard is one example. Then we have some more readings from Scripture. Leo the Great. More readings. Church Fathers. Christologus. Where was it? There was so many different nice resources that you could go through. It has the Stations of the Cross, and it even has musical notation for it. At least for the the responses, right? We adore you, O Christ, and we bless you because by your holy, well, this is a different translation, but by your holy cross you have redeemed the world. And then you can go through the different stations, so on and so forth. And then it also has the mysteries of Christ. Andrew of Crete, church father. More scripture. Thomas Aquinas, not a church father, but a doctor of the church. And Melito of Sardis. Not sure if that's a church father or not, or a saint even, but a lot of interesting little readings here that will take you throughout the year liturgically. Because that's the thing, it's not just for one day of the season. You can go through a lot of them. And ancient homily, it's so old we don't even know who wrote it, right? But I think that this is all St. Ephraim the Syrian. I'm assuming that's Ephraim the Syrian. A whole lot of cool little, not so cool art, but a whole lot of great resources, that may not otherwise be found. Teresa of Avila, Doctor of the Church. I think that this is St. Benedict, the founder of Western monasticism, right? Vincent de Paul, all these amazing saints, right? And then we have these meditations on the Eucharist and such. But, thank you to the person who sent this. This was a while ago. I don't know if he wants his name out there. So again, thank you. But again, why isn't this in publication? And, what do we have to do to get it in publication? And, we could put this in a nice leatherette. We could put this with a ribbon or two. It would be great. I would use this, all the time if it had ribbons and I knew other people were praying it actively. So the viable or the good alternatives, right? So we're not going to be able to match the scripture readings and the hymns and the church fathers and whatever else that's in this book, but some good options, alternatives. Shorter Christian Prayer, just about the same size, a little bit thinner, all 4 weeks of the Psalter. Again, not all 150 Psalms, but it's got most of them in there. And then we also have My Daily Psalm Book. I've done reviews on both of these. Now I've done reviews on all three, right? But I've done reviews on both of these, so if you feel so inclined, check those out. Man, if this book was still in print, there would be a link in the description, but alas, it's not in print. But that's a nice little option you got there for praying the Psalms in a way that is not so ribbon gymnastic, So be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Take care, and God bless.